Hi everyone, welcome to Thinking Out Loud podcast, a podcast where you're allowed to think, a podcast where you're allowed to share your thoughts, and most importantly, a podcast about leadership. And today, I have a legend in the room. Sheldon, how are you doing, my brother?
I'm good yourself, Freddy. Thanks a lot for having me.
Yeah, all good, all good. Sheldon, I just want to take you back, right? Where all of this begins. But
Yes.
firstly, I want to know the man behind the set, right? Tell me just the upbringing. How was it?
Yeah, no, thanks a lot. I think Sheldon, growing up in a community called Eldorado Park, I know you know Eldorado Park,
Yeah.
south of Johannesburg. So I grew up in what I seen to be basically a very modest background where things were really bad in our household, where growing up, I think it was one of those things like when you go to school and your teachers asks the kids that is unable to pay the school fees to please stay behind. You understand? It's a public school.
Yeah.
So you can imagine how broke we were. We
Yeah.
were really struggling. There was times where both my parents weren't working, and I think it taught me a lot about entrepreneurship at the time, because now as a kid, you're trying to figure out exactly what do you do to solve this problem. How are you able to actually be a solution? Because constantly the worries that you find within your household is purely about money. You understand? So now I can remember my very first adventure at the age of 12 years old was that gathering this 2 rand penny, and I used to get from my parents. It was like 2 rand penny they give you on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So then I take this money and I said, you know what, I'm going to save up and I'm going to have about 20 rand and use this 20 rand, go to the local cash and carry, go buy a box of ice cream, and start going door to door, telling guys, I'm selling ice cream. Don't you want to buy some ice cream? And the craziest thing was that I was stuttering at the time, Freddy. So you can imagine what type of boldness it took me to actually go up and go knock on that door and say, guys, I'm selling ice cream. And I think that was my very first business experience, being able to use that and just having that confidence to do that. And I think it grew so much that I started now looking at just the necessities of about business. I mean, like, you have to reinvest it in your product. So I use the profits from that, and I went to go buy 2 extra boxes of ice cream, and things started evolving. And then seasons change. From when the seasons change, and then I stumbled on cutting hair, and I was like, okay, you know what, cutting hair is actually, I saw an opportunity where I visited a local barber, and I saw that, guys didn't take the business as seriously. Sometimes you go up to these guys, then you end up finding the barber decides out of the blue that he's done cutting for the day. He doesn't want to cut hair anymore.
Yeah.
And now it leaves the customer stranded. Now you're like sitting there saying, who's going to cut my hair now? And now at that young age, I saw an opportunity, and I was like, okay, I want to learn to cut hair.
Yeah.
And I then visited these barbers and saw what they're doing, and I decided to replicate it back at home. So I asked my father to get me a clipper because things were really tough. He couldn't afford a clipper, so I borrowed a clipper from my friend. So my friend, I told him, you know what, once I get the skill right, I'm going to give you free haircuts. So he agreed, and
Good investment.
so he agreed, and then going back and forth to these local barbers, sometimes they would chase me away, and I'll just return with a bottle of cold as a bribe for my next lesson. But it was the best way for me to learn something I love at the age of 14 years old. And using methods learned, I would offer kids free haircuts in the community. I would offer kids free haircuts just to better my skill. So at that very young age, whilst doing this, I can remember, I must share the story with you. So my youth leader at the time, so he could also cut hair. And he was seeing I was busy struggling to get the styles right. And it took me to this verse. It took me to this verse in Colossians 3, verse 23. It says, whatsoever you do, work at it with all your heart, as you're working for the Lord. So now, reading this verse, and I asked him now, why are you showing me this verse? He says, you know what, Sheldon, you have to do it with excellence.
Yeah.
You have to do it as you're doing it for God. Now, my next haircut, what took me an hour, took me 3 hours with the next haircut.
It's just you paraphrasing that scripture all the time.
Trying to perfect that style, just trying to
yeah.
get it right. And that was the early days.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And in terms of you speak of home, that things were not easy, but what is it about home that made you to stay grounded? I mean, we're going to come to your surroundings and your environment at a time, but what is it that said, listen, you're not going to go into something else? The safest thing you can do right now is to have an ice cream business.
Yes. I think one thing that kept me grounded at that particular point, I think it was much more just my faith that was transcended from my mother.
Yeah.
So quite interesting enough, I never understood it back then, but she would model what Christianity is supposed to look like. She modeled in every sense way. The little that we had, she would give it away. You understand? The things that she would do, she would show love, she would show compassion. She would do these things because she saw that Christianity is not just about going to church on a Sunday. It's about the lifestyle that you live. And she showed me this, and I never understood. I thought like maybe this is just how things are supposed to be like.
Yes.
And the one thing that I've learned from her much more than anything else was she never told me to pray. She never said, no, Sheldon, you have to pray X amount of time in a day and all of this. But she showed me by modeling how to do it. So every morning she would wake up in the morning, Freddy. She would go on her knees, 4 a.m. in the morning, and she would start praying. And I think that was the best model for me to live my life now. Guess what happens? Sheldon also goes down on his knees each and every morning and say, you know what, I'm praying because I don't know what the day might hold, but I know that he holds a future. So that for me was the best model that I can have in terms of my faith, because always kept me grounded. Always, till this day, I'm still reminded that, my faith is what keeps me going.
Sure, powerful. And tell me, I mean, I had a few conversations with other leaders, and one thing that seems to be common that I'm noticing is that actually most of the leaders are not raised by basically they have to share their mother with the community. And for me that's quite interesting. But how did you find it? I mean, I know your mother worked for CNA, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
And she was sharing basically you were sharing her with the community.
Yes.
What lessons do you learn from that?
Yeah, I mean, it was just to take it way back. I mean, the time when she was working at CNA, I can remember this one time, us going to, so I used to help school holidays. I used to go out and go help and go be the packer at CNA. So that was me on school holidays, and sometimes I would make money from the change that people would give me by packing in goodies. And right next to CNA there was Woolworths, and this was in Linksfield. There was Woolworths right there, and Woolworths used to give away these expiry foods, but it wasn't expired. But they used to. So you come there, and you can either get these expiry foods because they have to clear it in a certain time frame. And we used to get of those expiry foods, and and she would share it with the community. And you can imagine the nice cupcakes and the cakes and stuff like this. We never, I mean, that was one of the fondest memories, because now you were broke, but you understood exactly, you know what, my mom's coming home, but she's bringing this food. At that particular point in my time, thinking like, you know, this is actually good quality. It's not like it's expiring. But she would come home and she would still share it with those in need. So we would always see people pass by our place and just being able just to take from there, you understand? And she would always be the hand that gives. Giving has been much more than just a handout, you understand? She taught me the principles that, you know, there's a verse in the Bible that says, whoever refreshes others, they themselves will be refreshed. And once we live our lives to wanting to give and wanting to refresh others and wanting to make others feel good, it just comes back automatically, and you start feeling good about yourself. You just start feeling that, you know, you feel so much better, because many of the times we live in a self-centered world that everything revolves around me. It's all about me. It's what I can gain from it, how much profits I can make from the business, how much I can do this, how much I can do this. But nobody sees the need to actually want to refresh others, want to do good for others. And I believe that it's such a good principle that if you solve the needs of others, eventually your need will be met. Eventually everything that you anticipate will be met. And I think even in business today, Freddy, I mean, if you look at the help in solving the need of those, you will be met eventually.
Yeah, true. Thanks for that. Just to take it back a little bit to your mother, I believe she had a superpower.
Yeah.
She could each and every time, before you even had a thought that I'm gonna get naughty, you talk about that she knew, she could see it through you, and she'd call you down and say, "Listen, I know what you're about to do."
Yeah.
Tell me about that. How was it?
Yeah. No, I mean, it was, it was so special. It was so special being able just to see that she knew things, and I think it comes down to just having that discernment. I recall a time where I just started working, and you know, you just started working, and now you got a car. And my cousin came and he says, you know what, are we going out? Are we going to do things? And that time you started getting these friends around you that you never anticipated. See, and then she's the one that actually called me and said, you know what, these people that's coming here are actually coming here for the wrong reasons. You think they're here for your own interests, but they're here to actually take from you. So it's so important that you guard yourself, you guard your mind. But you know, as a young person, you think, what is this woman talking about? It's not. But it's so important that we remind ourselves that, you know, some people would just come and just want to take. Others come to actually want to add value. So it's to have that discernment in there. And I mean, I can share with you so much stories of the times where she just had that discernment to want to know what's good and what's bad.
Excellent. And in terms of siblings, do you have any?
Yes.
Any siblings?
Yes. So I have a brother of mine that is 10 years older than me. So my brother and I, we haven't been much close because he grew up with my grandparents, and growing up, I would see him from time to time. It wasn't like, I think it's only recently when we started doing things together. Then because I actually started playing golf, and he was like, okay, now you're joining my sport, so let's see if we can compete against each other. Yes. And I think that relationship started growing where we started spending much more time together, and I mean, he's been such a such a blessing. He's been able to be that mediator because recently my mom and my father, they divorced, and he's been that person that's always trying to connect, and trying to mend those pieces. But I mean, like, such an amazing guy.
All right, perfect. And in terms of, I mean, you spoke a little bit about how now when you look back, your entrepreneurial journey started, right? It was with that bucket of ice cream that you had to sell. But when did it really hit you that, look, I'm an entrepreneur, and what I was doing, because I believe when you were doing it back then, you didn't even have a word for it, right? Maybe you thought you were hustling. So when did it hit you that I'm an entrepreneur?
Yeah, no, I mean, like, as a youngster, you don't even know what the word entrepreneur means. I mean, for me, I never knew what business was. I never had a model for what business could be. And I feel that sometimes you learn the hard way of what business is actually supposed to look like. Because in all honesty, growing up, you see, I was sharing this with somebody the other day, and I was saying, growing up as a youngster, especially when you come from a disadvantaged background, you don't have comparisons that you can actually find and grab from. You understand? So let's say me and Freddy goes to the same school, and Freddy has a father that has been through business, and Freddy has a father that's doing business, and Freddy's father's friends is also in business. And guess what happens? So we're in the same school, and basically we're doing the same thing. But my father on this side does not do business. My father is maybe when we had a braai, and both examples are like, Sheldon's father is maybe talking about different topics during the braai, and Freddy's father is maybe talking business during the braai with his friends. Now Freddy's sitting there, and Freddy's listening to all of these things, but Sheldon is listening to other things. Maybe things can be like, yeah, you know what, hey, I'm drinking this bottle, or basically I'm busy with this woman. It's like the conversations are totally different. So when you mature, and let's say, for example, Freddy and Sheldon both go to university, and they go study. Let's say both of them go study to go and do engineering, and when they graduate from engineering, both of them get contracts to go do. Maybe both of them go say, no, here's a contract to build a building. And Freddy is able to consult with his father, with his uncles, or with whoever has been part of his journey for the longest of time. Whereas Sheldon here is looking at the books. He's looking at, okay, how am I able to do this? Because there's nobody for me to call upon. And when we talk about the disadvantage of entrepreneur coming from the community, we talk about that right there. It's not the fact that that the education wasn't good, but it's the fact that this person on here has been mentored from a very young age and understand how business works. This person right here, unfortunately, has no one to actually guide him along the way. And the reason I say so is that when we talk about people starting from below zero, you still need to climb out of that pit before you go to the next. Before you go to the one, you understand. We understand how it is. It's like if you start business and you don't know exactly what you're doing, you need to learn as you go. And whereas this person starts a business and it just gets running. And I think that has been the journey. So taking it back all the way back to around 2011 when I started out. So I saw an opportunity and I approached my cousin and I said, you know what, I can cut hair. Why not why not speak to him so I can maybe make use of his stoop to make a pop-up barber. So he agreed with the condition I only come on weekends. And at the time I was working, I came on weekends, and I decided to give it a go. And I wondered, what makes me so special? I see customers coming week in, week out. Yeah. And then I then went across the road because there's a barber right across the road from me. I went to go speak to him, and I went to go see what he's doing. And while speaking to him, I saw that it was much more of a monetary transaction. So I cut your hair, done, next customer. Whereas when people came to come sit on my chair, I then made reference to every single customer. So if I'm giving Freddy a haircut today, I would write down the name of the person, the conversation we had. And that's just to build that relationship with each and every customer that sat on my chair. And I never saw myself to be the most skillful barber. I just saw myself the one to actually build that relationships, because I understood that people want a sense of belonging to their barber and not just a transactional approach where I'm just cutting your hair, done, next customer. And I think that has been my unique selling proposition ever since.
And I guess you pass on that to everybody that you meet across and all of that. I fully agree. So for you, you mentioned September. It's the 3rd of September.
Yes.
Right, 2011.
Yes.
I have the date.
Yes.
What happens then? Exactly. Just elaborate.
Yes. So the 3rd of September, so we move from the stoop and we approach the landlord at the space in the Eldorado Park, and we speak to him and we ask him if we could make use of his space to do a barbershop. And so he said, guys, you know what? There's no lease here. If you don't pay, you're out. But just make sure that you pay me each and every month on the 31st of every month. So we then decide to launch our very first barbershop. A friend of mine, so we're partners. We then decided to go at the 3rd of September. We launched. We saw people coming in. Business started picking up. We said, you know what, we're going to need more hands here. So we get guys from the community and decided to upskill them. We done this by actually going to schools, going to old age homes, and we done this just to show them exactly how to cut hair and giving free haircuts to the old age homes and to the schools. What came out was so remarkable that going to the old age homes was so refreshing that we then decided, I think something just said to me, why not name the barbershop after the old people? Because they are actually the legends of our community. And that's where it's called Legends Barber.
Interesting. All right. So you speak about the power of community. So I mean, if when I was studying KCD, right, a lot of people told me, no, this will not work, right? Because number one, you're starting it in the township. It's dangerous. There are no successful businesses in the township. There are no unicorns from the township. Don't start that business, right? I'm sure you've had some of that to look at. And my take most of the time, and my reply now to that statement is that, if you were to take a lion and you make it live in the urban areas, it will feel scared and left out because it's not used to the environment. The same happens if I were to take you right now and take you to the jungle. You will also feel, look, I don't belong here. It's dangerous for me. So you growing up in Eldorado Park, right? Immediately when you say I'm from Eldorado to any of your clients, I'm sure the looks you got was like, where are you from? Tell me about that. What kind of an impact growing up in Eldorado Park had in you?
Yeah, no, it's I mean, like, just think about it like this, Freddy, and you also come from a community. What seems to be a norm, being able to, the norm for us in our community was, you see, from time to time, gunshots taking off. You see from time to time, police coming in it's maybe a car chase that's happening. From time to time, you hear helicopters above above your heads, chasing whoever, you understand. From time to time, these things happen.
Yeah.
And it's such a norm. It's such a norm where we, growing up, you thought that the only way that you can survive is to fight. And I say physically fight.
Yeah.
Because if you don't stand your ground, you are going to be left behind.
Sure.
And Sheldon went to go do boxing. Sheldon, growing up, decided, you know what, I want to learn how to do boxing. At the age of, I was 11 odd years old, and I decided to go and do boxing. And I understood that I need to stand my ground because things are really tough. So if I get in a fight with somebody at school, I need to be able to stand my grounds. And what I thought was something that is going to actually be self-defense. It was a matter of actually teaching me so much disciplines around how to live your life, because boxing not only taught me the disciplines that you need to instill within you as an individual, but also the type of hard work that you need to put in order for you to be up there, you see. So, I mean, I can share with you so much experiences of boxing, but I can remember one of my fondest memories was my dad waking me up in the morning. So I'm about to fight the following Saturday, and my dad used to always wake me up with these words. He says, "Sheldon, I see your opponent is already outside. He's busy running, he's busy training, and you are sleeping." And you are busy sleeping. And it makes you think. It definitely makes you think that, you have to pull up your socks. You definitely have to pull up your socks. And in a tough environment like Eldorado Park, I never saw myself to be any different from any barber. Like your business as well. I mean, like you don't see yourself to be any. What makes you so unique? You understand? I mean, there's so many barbers in our communities. There's nothing that makes you so unique. But understanding, how do you break through that boundaries? How are you able to come on top? How are you able to actually shine amongst every single one? And I think it was a process of understanding that the hard work that you put in with your faith that you have will definitely get you to a point where you can be able to come on top. And it's nothing else. Because many of the time we think that success is preordained and basically anyone can attain success. But I fully believe that first and foremost, you need to work hard, but you need to put your faith into works. Because faith without works is dead.
True.
And
that's a lovely scripture.
Yes. Like that, yes. And once you're able to do that, success will eventually come.
Yeah, true. Thanks for that. Look, you're right. Sports kind of has an impact on behavior. I recently introduced chairs within custody because I wanted the people that work with me to think strategically.
Yes.
And so now we have this chessboard in the office always floating, and they're forever challenging each other.
That's nice.
But what it really taught me, and I learned chess from an early age.
Yes.
But right now, what chess is teaching me is to listen.
Yes.
And it's like when I look at it, it's like I've never listened before, and now I listen much better. I can hear what people are saying because I have the moment to pause and just receive everything around you, assess it. So I fully acknowledge the fact that sports can have that impact. Right. So Sheldon Eldorado Park, I believe, falls in love, gets married, goes to the honeymoon. What happens when you come back?
Oh, yeah. So I come back 6 days later and the doors are closed. I then called my partner at the time. He didn't answer his phone. I then called one of the guys that was working at the time, and he explained to me, said, "Sheldon, this guy never paid the rent. But to make matters worse, he never paid them because they used to get paid on a daily basis based on the commission at the end. So now standing in front of those closed doors, realizing, you know what, I've lost everything we worked for this past couple of months, just left me feeling devastated. Thinking like, who am I to really think I can make a career out of this?
Yeah.
So I continued working in the bank. I'm sure you also as well.
Yeah.
I work in the bank, and at the bank, you know, they give you these fancy titles. And so like,
True that.
yeah. My job title was an account management consultant.
Yeah, big one.
Sounds like this guy is like sitting on a corner office.
Yeah.
But as a matter of fact, I was a debt collector.
Okay.
I used to call you when your account is in arrears.
Okay.
And that was my work,
Yeah.
but using it as a stepping stone for what's next. And I think I've learned so much from the job, being able just to learn exactly what it is to actually, because you never find yourself in a corporate environment, and it teaches you a lot of things, a lot of things, and even being able to be situated in the bank as well, learning how the financial institution work, understanding exactly what debtors and creditors are, understanding exactly each and every process of I think that also helped my journey as well, because you know, sometimes as entrepreneurs you don't understand the importance of money. And I think I was like that, especially with my first business. I didn't understand, you know, every cent is actually so important. That every cent that you have can contribute towards you or be a disadvantage towards you, depending on what you use it for. The value of money made me realize that if I'm trusted with 100 rand and my expenses is 120 rand, that means that I'm already in a negative. And I need to be able to not only look at how am I going to get a 20 rand, but how am I able going to manage better moving forward. Because we all know that whoever can be trusted with little can be trusted with much. Whoever can be faithful with little can be faithful with much. And that is how I feel that many of the times we don't talk about it here in sessions like this. We don't talk about entrepreneurs. You need to manage your money wisely. You need to be able to pay attention to the detail. You need to understand exactly what it is, because the one thing my father told me many years ago, he says, you know what, money doesn't get old.
Wise words. True, right? Sure. Yeah, I
Doesn't
agree
get
with
old.
that. Yeah.
And if you take it and if you understand it, it's like what that says is that, you know, taking care of everything that you have. And even if somebody owes you money, if somebody, you need to be able to understand how you need to be able to actually collect that money. So I think that job has basically contributed towards what I'm doing now.
Yeah, true that. I mean, I normally say if you take care of the cents, the rands will take care of you tomorrow.
Yes.
So I agree with that. Look, when you speak, and this is normally something I say to a lot of people around me, especially at work, that leadership is a lifestyle, right? You don't stop being a leader. You actually look for opportunities sometimes to lead, and it might come in a form of a question, or it might come in the form of a challenge, right? And I'm sure as a leader, you've come across those challenges, and what's coming out from me, it's you kind of like a servant leader. You focus more on people in your leadership style. Can you just take me through that? Why that kind of style? Is it from did you learn it from your mother? Because I got a sense of it that she was also a servant leader. But where does it come from for you?
Yeah, no, thanks a lot, Freddy. I think I come from I would say if I take it back to corporate and I take it back to the job that I was doing, and I understood how it worked in terms of the boss sitting in a corner office, him commanding the shots. He's telling us what to do. So we need to listen to him and basically just apply. Sometimes, majority of the times, we were rebellious, you understand, because we don't understand. Because he doesn't understand what we're doing. He's like, you know what, this is what you're supposed to do. And you know, my faith has actually taught me something different. My faith has taught me that, you know, Jesus didn't come to be served. He came to serve.
True.
If you consider how things work in the corporate world, and we see this happening, the boss is sitting here, up here, and exactly to that same analogy. But if I take the thing about servant leadership for me is that the triangle needs to be reversed. And basically the triangle needs to be like this. I'm sitting at the bottom and I'm asking my guys each and every day. I ask my guys, how can I help you? How am I able to make your job better? How am I able to serve you today? Because you are the one that actually make things happen. And many leaders tend to forget that. Many leaders tend to say, you know what, we're supposed to be doing 1, 2, 3. It's not you. Like I wouldn't be sitting here now. And I mean, there's over 600 barbers in the shop right now as we speak. There's so much operations that's taking place. And I am sitting here right now and I'm constantly asking my guys the questions. How am I able to help you? How am I able to assist you? How am I able to make your lives better? How am I able to be? And once people realize your genuine interest in them, they start wanting to do their best. Because it all boils down to people, not the numbers. People. People are the one that makes the numbers. People are the ones that makes the results. But if you show genuinely interest in that person, empathy, sympathy towards them, guess what happens? They automatically start to perform. They automatically start to increase the numbers. Because I do believe that we all have emotions. We're emotional beings. And if you're able to tap into the emotions of the next person, you're helping that person to succeed, you will succeed eventually.
True that. I like how you, and I think this must be a talent. So if in the next life you can go and be a preacher if you're not doing it, but your life literally evolves around scripture. Right, and that's one powerful thing. One verse that talks to me, it's in Matthew 5 where it says, "You are the light of the world." And for me, that's a very powerful verse, right? Because it doesn't say, because of your surroundings, your light must stop shining. It doesn't say that. It says you have this light, and you are the light of the world. And I think you had to shine coming from El Dorado in order to make it. But obviously that must come with a lot of failure as well, right? Because that's what success is all about. It's built out of those failures that we experience. And there are some failures that we feel they should break us, like we done. I'm sure when you saw those doors, it was done for you, right? What made you to have the courage to say, I'm going to open those doors again?
Yeah, no, it's quite interesting you say so, Freddy, because if we think that it's all about ourselves, if we think that it's all about through our own doing, it's all through what we can achieve. You only have 24 hours in a day, and He's the one that gives seed to the sower. So you need to go out there. And to your question is what made me actually come back was I felt there was a calling. I felt that calling that I had came from not only from above, but also from people, because God speaks through people. And that calling constantly asking me, when are you coming back? When are you coming back? Please, let us know. I understand we want to come cut our hair. So constantly, wherever I went, and remember, I just left cutting hair. I mean, like, when the doors closed that day, I never picked up clippers again.
Sure.
I was like, I'm done with this. But God just has a way of speaking to people. And at the right appointed time, when it happened, when we relaunched on the 26th of July 2014, I just felt like this is the right moment, because I just had gathered the experience of what it is to fail, what it is to go through what I went through. And I think that wasn't just the only failure. We talk about failure, is that there's been more failures along the way that we don't talk about. And some people don't even know about it. There was even a time where I had 5 stores. So listen to this, Fred. I had five outlets, and we have 5 stores. And whilst having these 5 stores, one of my stores, I had a partner. So I had two stores that had partners. The one store was actually a store that was a long-term employee that was with me throughout the journey. So I said, you know what, I'm going to make you a partner because you've been with me since 2011. You are that guy that has been so faithful since that time. And I said, you know what, you are going to be one day when I'm going to make you a partner. And I gave him a percentage in a store in Soweto, Zone 6. So I gave him a percentage of basically the profits. We went in the JV with that shop. Then there was another shop in Eldorado Park where there was a friend that also wanted a share. So I said, okay, you know what, I'm going to make you a shareholder of that particular shop. So now, as I get to store number 5, these 2 guys start colluding with one another. They start saying, you know what, Sheldon is expanding on his own. Sheldon is doing his own thing. There's no way he can expand like that. Let us bring down this business. So now they started getting started spreading to all the branches. So you know what, guys, we're going to close down this business. We're going to ensure that Legends does not have customers. They created a different company, and that company, they started opening stores right next to or nearby where Legends had stores.
Sure. Strategic.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So now, whilst this is happening, I just landed. So it was my very first trip that I went to China that year, and I just landed. And I decide to go on a Friday. So I go to the one shop in Eldorado Park, and I take off my branding, and I said, no, it's fine. You can do your own thing. Go ahead and go do your thing. I'm taking off my branding. It's fine. Do that. And I went across to the shop in Zone 6 venue, and I said, okay, I'm taking all my branding. This shop can be closed because the lease is in our name. So I closed down the shop. And I go to the 3rd shop. So Eldos, Zone 6, and the 3rd shop was in Florida. So as I get to the 3rd shop, something just says, just stay here, hang around. And it was payday that time. So the guys got paid. All of them got paid on the day. And as they got paid, these guys tendered in their resignations, one by one. Every single barber tendered in their resignations on the day. Standing there, I'm like, what? What am I going to do now? The shop needs to operate tomorrow. Anyway, the next day, I found myself at that shop and getting guys that was prematurely trained. We just started the training center, got them, and we started cutting hair there. And now I need to put this fire out, but while this fire is going, there's another fire that's taking place in another location. And at all these locations, these guys were very strategic in wanting to bring down the business. I think that moment is when your back is against the wall and you realize that it's just God. It's just God.
Yeah.
You see, the one thing I've learned, Freddy, is that faith is not all the time when things are going your way.
Yeah.
But it's when you are able to go through the storm and you get down on your knees, you say, God, I don't know what to do.
Powerful. Yeah, I agree with you. Sure, that's just yeah, it's a great story around failure, right? I recently learned that there's a conference called FailCon, where all the entrepreneurs that have failed before, they gather, and it's a conference, and they tell each other's their failed stories,
Yes.
and there's so many, and you're right, we have to learn from it. We have no choice but to learn, and all of that. And another thing about leadership
Yes.
is the vision. And this is how I explain the vision to my team, is that as an entrepreneur or leader, what happens is you go and you live in the future for a few minutes, and you see the future, and then you come back, and then you have to convince everyone that, listen, I can take you there.
Yes.
And all of us can be happy and we make it. And every day you have to live by those words and have a map, a strategy of how do you get them there. But the funny thing is that not everybody will see the vision. Some people will think, ah, you're crazy.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm sure when you told people that, look, I'm gonna build an international brand, not a South African brand. Right? And now you're international. I don't know if people know, but you're international. How is that? I mean, that's for me, that's huge. Right? You know the South African brand, and we need to stop saying,
Yes.
here is a South African brand. No, Legends is an international brand, and it deserves that, and we should start calling it that, because that's what it is.
Yes.
But how does it feel knowing that? And obviously the hard work behind it.
No. I think to your point as well, it's that vision. That vision, I don't think that everyone is given that vision.
Yeah.
So I remember doing something crazy when I just had one shop. So now back in 2014, I used to write down, the mirrors where the customers see themselves.
Yeah.
So I used to write down on the mirrors 1,000. So I used to just write down 1,000. On every mirror, I wrote down 1,000. People would come and people would ask, why is this 1,000? And I'll tell them, we will have more than 1,000 customers per month in our store. They looked at me and they're like, 1,000. Then they asked me, so how many customers you serving now? Maybe 100 and something or so.
Yeah.
But I don't think people understood it.
Yeah,
I don't think people
it's
understand it.
Yeah.
And it goes back to advocates saying, write the vision down because the week there it will come to pass. And exactly to this date, no shop serves less than 1,000 people per month.
Sure.
And that is a testament of putting the vision down, writing it, and ensuring that although people laugh at you, although people criticize you, although people ridicule you, that vision that you write down, it will come to pass. And nobody believes in it. Nobody believes that you're saying these things. And I can share with you so many examples was that even the time when I had a scooter, so before I relaunched the business, 2013, I bought myself a scooter.
Yeah.
And I bought myself the scooter because I was reading a verse in the Bible in Ecclesiastes. In Ecclesiastes it says, do not let your hands be idle, for you do not know what will succeed. So work at it during the day and work at night. And whilst doing my day job, I think I have time after hours. I can start doing this thing on the side because then I bought myself a scooter, started going out to customers. And I get to this one customer, and I saw he was trying to call me, but I couldn't answer because I had a helmet on. And I called him back at the boom gate of his estate. And he told me, Sheldon, there's load shedding here. I'm like, load shedding? Okay, so now I have to drive all the way back now because I lost out on the sale. On my way back, I just felt God speaking to me about this vision. So like, buy this mobile bus Make sure that you have a chair on the inside. It's fully equipped to serve customers wherever you go. It's electric and it has all the bells and whistles.
Yeah.
So you don't need all of these things to actually service your customer in their houses or in offices. You can actually go to the Modus Pass. They jump into it and they get a haircut. So then I went home and I started sketching. And every single one I told back then, all told me, this is a great idea. This thing will really work. So I asked them, are you able to invest?
I don't know the answer to that question.
No, it's good for you, not for me.
Hear that. You gotta get that.
Yeah. And what happened was that exactly 5 years since 2013, exactly 5 years since I wrote down that vision, that bus came a reality in 2017. And that bus is now the mobile service bus that goes around, cuts people, exactly how I envisioned it in that paper. It came to reality. And I think it's so important that we write down those visions. We invest in, and you know, sometimes we look at it and we're like, is this thing really going to come to pass? Because I'm looking at this paper of this bus every day on my wall, but I don't see my bank balance moving. I don't see things happening. I don't see that's where faith kicks in. Because if you have the faith that one day, might not be now, but one day, as long as I'm working, as long as I'm putting that 1%, as long as I'm doing one, that one will be able to get you there.
Sure. Powerful. I know you're also a guy that values learning, continuous learning. I mean, as you speak, I keep on hearing about the lessons that you recognize, because some of the lessons we actually don't see and they're in front of us if we don't have the learning mindset. And that's one of the very good qualities of a good leader. So tell me, how much do you value learning as a leader?
I think it's everything, huh? It's everything, Freddy. I mean, I made an example for you of two guys earlier, and just understanding that you're learning, God can only bless you to the level of your capacity. If you grow to become a certain level of leader, God will only be able to match that. And education is what you have, but the application of it, if you're able to apply it in your daily environment, is so important. And I know this knowledge of entrepreneurs being dropouts, entrepreneurs being the people that don't make it through school, entrepreneurs, and that notion needs to come to an end. Because if you want to grow and scale your business beyond a spaza shop, you need to be able to learn. You need to be able to understand. And you can only see the difference in an entrepreneur once he's educated and once he understands it. And for me, I value it so much. Whether I'm reading books, whether I'm reading things that I don't understand, for me it's critical, because I know that if I'm going to grow, I need to upskill myself. So recently, I'm sure you saw, was it I supposed to? So this time I supposed to be in Harvard. So I was accepted in Harvard, and I supposed to go do a course it's called the Owners President's Management course. It's a massive course that has been attended by even the presidents of countries. It's so prestigious. It's above an MBA. And so when I was accepted to do this course, I was also surprised. I was like, what makes me so special to want to do this course? But I think what has taught me is that you're never too old not to learn, to go back to school, to just dive into wanting to upskill yourself. Because that is going to determine where you're going to. Not now, you will not see the results now, but in the future you will definitely be able to see, you know what, this person knows exactly because of the learnings that he's been taught in school, or the learnings that he's been taught here. And I feel that education for me, just take it way back. I mean, I actually I went to go do a degree in BCom accounting, but I dropped out. I dropped out many years ago because I felt that it wasn't necessary for me to do a degree as an entrepreneur, because I'm not going to need it. I'm not going to apply for a job. And I think that was one of my greatest failures, because not being able to absorb that and learning that. Because you can imagine how far you can go as an entrepreneur by having that skill set. And whether you, because the thing is, this is that it's fine, you can hire the skill set. But you could maybe hire the wrong person, and the wrong person can be lying to you, the wrong person can be telling you things, because that person can see is that you don't know what you're talking about. So it's always good to upskill yourself. So whether as an entrepreneur, I feel that you have to be all-rounded. You need to be able to know what financial accounting is. You need to be able to understand how HR systems work.
What is marketing?
You need to understand what marketing. You have to be able to be all-rounded in all aspects of what you do. Because when you communicate with somebody, you can speak their language.
Yeah, true that. I mean, I concur with you. I agree. I also back in the days, I did software development at varsity, and I dropped out. And throughout my career, my corporate career, I had to YouTube a lot, more than anybody, because I had to make sure that I knew the things that even the guys that had graduated and had masters and degrees didn't know. So I had to work extra hard to get there.
To get it.
Yeah, and I fully agree with you. Education plays a huge role, right? But if you come back to it, so you are now, right? You walk down the street, people will know who you are. You drink a Coke, a young kid will go home and tell their mother, I want to drink a Coke because Sheldon drank a Coke, right? So you are now a role model. And in most instances, I know this, you forget that who you are. I mean, you want to go to Woolies and you just want to be yourself, right? Or you want to go buy a quarter and you just want to be yourself. And all of a sudden you realize somebody's looking at you, you need to have manners. The way you're eating that quarter is not proper. How are you managing that pressure?
It's quite interesting. On my way here, Freddy. So on my way here, I stopped at one place and I grabbed the coffee quickly. So as I grabbed the coffee, I went into the lift. And as I go into the lift, this lady says, "You are Sheldon." "Yes, I follow you on LinkedIn. I know you." So now it basically gets you off guard, and you're like, you know what, this is who you are as a person. This is what people present. But I think that much more than anything else, it's just trying to be authentic as possible. It's trying to understand that, this is who you are. Okay, this is the same person that you see on socials. There's no difference. The way I treat you is the same way I treat whoever I encounter. And people can see that authenticity in you. Because I think in today's world, people don't want to be bluffed anymore. People don't want to be told lies anymore, because you find so much gimmicks. People want the truth. People are earning for, you know what, I want to know exactly how did you do it? How were you able? How did you go through the struggles? And by you actually sharing your story, by you actually telling them, you know what, just the other day I got robbed. And we live in a country where this happens to us. Doesn't matter, we have this cap on to say it's all good and it's all well. I was in tears. I was crying. And you share those experiences. And this is what people like. People love that authenticity, because people can understand, you know what, this is somebody that I can relate to.
Sure.
This is somebody that I want my children to look up to. And I do believe that we need more people to show how it's done.
Sure.
Like I shared a story with you of my mother, and I shared a story of basically my mother being able to pray and how I pray today. And it made me realize that, my son, so I was trying to get my son to make his bed up each and every morning. And I would tell him, and I'll say, make up your bed, make up your bed, make up your bed. Every morning he doesn't do it. And sometimes I get frustrated. But then I decided, you know what, I'm going to do it for him. I'm going to be the model for him. And I'm going to make his bed up for him. And I started making up his bed every morning. And he started feeling embarrassed. And he was like, Sheldon. And he started feeling that. And I was like, it's being the model to your kids.
Yeah.
Being the model to show them exactly what is right and what is wrong and how you're supposed to do it. And then he said, Tada, come and make up my bed. Come I do it. Come I do it. Come I do it. So he saw it. And I think many of the times we are quick to tell people what they're not doing, but we too scared to actually role model. And I think the role modeling part is what we're supposed to adapt, all of us. I mean, like you as well, Freddy, going to a community, it's understanding that, the young Freddy that's coming up there in the car seat is like, is looking up to you. It's like, what, one day I want to be like Freddy. One day I want to be able to build my business like him. See, it's understanding that we never had role models where we were coming from. Oh, the role models were maybe the guys with the fancy cars, the gangsters in the community. That were the role models that the kids are looking up to. And maybe up until today, but if we can instill positive role models within a community and understanding it is possible to change your life and focus on the positivity in our community, then we can raise a generations of Freddys. We can raise a generation of Sheldons. And it's not just about us.
Yes. That's true. I just had an experience recently. So I took my son to work.
Yes.
Right, and then we had to have a meeting at work with my management, my ESCO, and I said, no, you can sit in, right? And then everybody was giving back their reports and all of that, how the driver's doing, all of those things, right? Every time now when he sees me, whether it's after school and all of that, the first question he asks me is, how's business?
Yes.
Like, business is good. It's getting there.
Yes.
Right? Are you having any trouble with the drivers? I'm like, for now it's a bit quiet, But all the questions that I was asking my team and the executive team, I'm being asked now to say, because he started showing interest into the business, and I fully agree with you. But if we take it back in El Dorado, there is that young man who has seen you in El Dorado, right? And like you're saying, they want to be like you, right? That young man right now is watching this podcast. What do you tell them?
One thing I can tell them is put God first. Put God first. Put God first. Sometimes we tend to neglect that God is the one that wants to walk the journey with us and not beside us. He wants to be the one that is holding your hand through the storm. He wants to be the one that is there. And I think if somebody would have told me that faith and business is intertwined at a very young age, or the time when I was starting my business, I would never realize the importance of it. Up until I realize it today. Because I believe that, you see, God's word is everything that I live by. Because He is the one that actually instructs me and shows me and guides me. Because we all know that if you delight yourself in the Lord, He will give you the desires of your heart. He's the one that makes the crooked path straight. And you don't realize the importance of putting God first until you face storms, until you face the troubles of life, until your back is against the wall, until all of these happens to you, and you're like, where do I go to now? And for that young boy is put God first in whatever you do. Seek Him first, and everything else, doesn't matter what it is, the fame, the money, the success, all of this stuff is just a byproduct of wanting to seek your Creator.
Thank you very much for that. Final takeaway. What's next for Legends?
Yes. What's next for Legends? So there's some exciting projects that we're busy with. I'm not sure if you saw, we rolled out. So we have a relationship with Virgin Active. So we have a nice thing going. We're rolling out a couple of Legends stores within their Virgin Active spaces. We also have our pod. It's like a whole nice pod that we launched. The whole idea for the pod was being able to have something self-sustainable, and you plug this thing in an office park or in a place where you can just have a barbershop wherever, you understand? There's solar panels, it's fully equipped, you can wash your hair on inside. It's a fully fledged barbershop, but it's just a pod. And I think that's the next thing that that's taking off. And there's so much excitement around it. You could see people actually jumping onto this because it's the first of its kind, definitely the first of its kind. So I'm really, really much excited about it. I'm also really excited about, there's one thing that I didn't speak to you about, Freddy, is our products. Our products are really doing well in the retail space. We have our products that we develop, and it's doing phenomenal within clicks, Duscam spas, and even in our spaces as well. Find a lot of customers adapting to our products because our main thing is solving for solutions for customers, and customers love that. And so that's really doing really well. And then last but not least, there's a company that I started a few years ago called the Fade Company. So the Fade Company is a clipper business. So clipper business was started by myself. You asked me why would I do this, was that I got a call a few years ago, or many years ago, by a well-known radio station. And at that particular point, there was this thing about the guys getting bumps behind their head. It was a whole thing to discredit the barber that's cutting hair on the road. And whilst talking to this lady, and she explained to me, so should everyone cut their hair at Legends? I said, no. And she said, what should people do? And I said, you know what? Put yourself in that barber's position. What is that barber's objective? He makes maybe 50, 60 rand a day cutting on the side of the road. Do you think his goal is to have, do you think his priority is to actually buy new equipment and stuff? His goal is to feed his family come the end of the day. So it bothered me for that time. I'm like, you know what, how am I able to help? How am I able to solve this particular problem? So then I established this company called the Fade Company. It's a clipper brand that empowers the barbers that's cutting on the side of the road. And this is how we do it. For every 10 clippers sold, 1 pack is donated to that barber on the side of the road. And get this, Sheldon actually goes out to that barber physically and hands him the clipper and also gives him the advice, the mentorship training that he needs, the encouragement to actually help him along this journey. And that gives me much more fulfilling towards what I'm doing, because I feel that is making an impact in that person's life. Because once that person has that tool that will be able to help them on this journey, it makes a huge difference.
Sure. Thank you very much. And thanks for sharing. And thanks for coming out. Well, guys, you've heard it from a legend himself. So please don't forget to subscribe, share, and like in our YouTube channel. Thank you very much, and take care.